is public comment. Yes, public here.
We do. We have some representatives of our student council here at the meeting with us, and I'm just going to ask these ladies to introduce themselves, and then they'll talk about a special announcement they're going to do.
Hi, I'm Vivian Hudson, Constantine Denver. So we're part of student council, and we were wondering if you guys would like to be our marshals of the parade for homecoming on October 22nd. So we're throwing that out there if you guys would like to be our marshals, because you did so much for our school and giving us a student facility for our education, so we really appreciate it.
I will be happy to meet you.
I see a lot of head nods.
All in favor? Thank you very much. All in favor?
So what, in these envelopes that we received, are there the directions in terms of where they need to be and when, and what's going to be provided?
Well, there should be. I believe our secretary wrote them, so I didn't read them, but if there isn't, you guys can contact me.
It doesn't give a location where you want us to meet at 11:30.
It will, yeah, it will most likely be at the middle school or elementary. Well, it'll likely be at the elementary school where all the floats and like hay wagons and all that goes.
Well, this is exciting.
So it's 11:30.
11:30 on Saturday.
I'm sure it goes. Thank you very much. Jack, do you have a second?
Great invitation.
We can't see the presentation.
No, we're going to have to adjust.
Yeah, we can see the budget there. We have to put it.
We thought at the presentation time we could just move over.
Okay.
Okay. That's not really a presentation.
It's just, well, the information that
Yeah.
we wanted to discuss.
I did print some copies too if we have to, but I think we
perhaps we
can
should do that.
try to maybe move here and just. Okay.
Obviously, you're going to be using the portable board.
Yep.
A sash is in order. Yeah.
You mean it's not tails and top hat?
No idea, I don't know what Marshall's are. Well, actually, I mean, Marshall's like a star, so maybe.
Those are U.S. ones. I don't think we get to see those.
I would say
It's
blue
the
and
best
white.
one.
Yeah, blue and white probably, who's playing?
So it's only connected to
Well, that's the school.
Oops.
Yeah, blue and white. I was gonna say, whatever colors they are, you don't wait on those.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a chair's report this evening. While they work on that. Minutes. Everybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes? Mr. Bittner.
Comment on the minutes on page 3.
Uh-huh.
Just the plantings on all gas is the motion to approve for 3. It wasn't moved. 3 to 3.
Okay, I'll take your word.
I know. I checked the YouTube videos.
Okay.
Actually, 303 would have been approved.
Yeah, it would have to be 4 to 3. Okay, so I will take a motion to approve with that correction. Second. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, moving along quickly. Monthly invoices. We have before us the usual invoices. We do?
So if you turn to
Okay,
page
there.
5 of your package, so we have the basic invoices, the Straumann acquisition, $801,130.98, $52,500 for OPM for MB5, For TAPE, we have 80,832.50. We have a couple of technology invoices for $49,359.52. And then we have a UTS invoice for $1,890. All total, $985,713.01.
Are there any questions? Take a motion to approve the presented invoices.
Motion to approve invoices as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're sending these around. We should start with that one. Here. Alrighty. Project update.
So this is,
So this is where we were. What I had asked was, given where we were in the project, we've been saying that we are, below budget on a $72.5 million program, but I asked the team to come up with a closer look at the numbers to see where we were. Unfortunately, should we just move? Would that be the easiest thing to do? I mean, waiting for the new screen would slow us down.
we can either move here or we can go through other things and then come back.
I prefer to do this. Let's gather round.
It would be good to have Phil for this. Oh, there he comes.
There they are. Wow. Wow. That's a serious piece of equipment. It's portable television and operating table.
Just a crash cart.
It's magic.
Probably. As you and this is. So what do you want to do?
I think right now would be fine. Thank you, Charlie.
Only one would pop it in. Only one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it can be raised, correct?
I'm going to raise it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Would have been through the door.
Very cool. We staged all this to demonstrate the kind of technology that's available in the building.
I'm glad it was after a $72 million school where you get everybody to move to the technology, get the technology to move to the people. That's bizarre.
I'm wondering, so we did it on the screen. I have to scroll up and down.
There you go.
Okay. A little small. Can everybody see okay? I'll zoom in on it.
So, I had said earlier, just to go through these so that I could have a better understanding of them. And so let me start with what the bottom line is. We have a project of $72,598.48. And that's that line, that yellow line, project approved budget cost. We have an unspent project contingency remaining to date, which is owners and project, of $3,569,720. So that means that the project estimated cost, if we assume a zero contingency drawdown at this point, of around $69,021,000. So The numbers above will walk you through some of those. The feasibility study obviously was 100% committed, and so that's been spent. The administration, OPM printing and other, we're 84% into it with a balance of $313,550. Architecture and engineering, we're at 91% of the billing on that, and that's it. Remaining is $424,827. Those lines we should expect to come near to zeroing out as the project is completed. The construction itself, the budgeted amount was $59,160, 962. What we have spent to date is $53,015,560, which is at 90%, and in balance is $6,145,402. Again, we should probably be at or under that number at the end of the project. So the cost of the construction is will be at or under the budget amount. Owner's contingency, that midline there, where it says summary project contingency. The owner's contingency allocated was $600,000. Thus far, we've spent $34,109. So our owner's contingency, we've only expended $34,600,000. There's a balance there of $565,891. We have some after. Well, let me go down to the project contingency. The project contingency was budgeted at $4,170,774. We have committed $1,201,054, which is basically we've spent 25% of the project contingency. And as we said earlier, we don't expect to be spending significantly any more out of the project contingency. One of the things I did want to point out, coming down further on the summary of the GMP construction contingency, the GMP contingency, which, as you remember, Inge, walk us through again what the GMP contingency is, because it's a different line than the owners in the project.
Right, so the GMP contingency is a line item that's built and allocated within the GMP itself, not within the project cost. So basically, if you look at this cost, the PFA, these contingencies are part of the PFA. The GMP contingencies are within the GMP of the construction cost. That's the only difference. You can only use it for, it's basically allocated within Schrammann's contract, and Schrammann can use it for unforeseen conditions, for discrepancies in drawings and such and things like that. But it's within the GMP. We cannot use it for owner changes or for adds to the project, basically. So that's what it's legally meant to be.
But that's
It's
already baked into
it's
the...
baked into the GMP contract, not into the project cost. I mean, yeah, it is part of the project cost, but it does not, using the GMP contingency does not increase our construction cost. So basically, whatever money we use within this section will not increase this cost, the construction cost. The change orders that we use, we have to take out from project contingency and move into construction contingency, construction cost, so the cost goes up. That's the difference.
And if we don't spend that $818,000...
It goes back to the project, basically. Everything goes
So
back.
it's still saving.
It's still saving money. And yes, if we don't spend that $800,000, it will eventually reduce the total project cost. However, if we need something, not need, but if we have to do something, say that it's, we're still tying some things up and working on bills and something comes up and we use the GMP contingency funds to fund that issue, it will not increase our construction costs because it's already built in within the construction costs.
So if we were to do something as you suggested through a change order, that would require them to move the money, create a new line, take the cost of the work itself, and then we add a markup to it.
Correct. And the change order will move money out of project contingency, out of the 4 million or whatever we have left, up to the construction cost and will essentially increase this amount. The bottom line will not change because the contingencies are built in within the PFA, so this other project cost, those contingency funds are within that. So the bottom line never changes, but the construction cost will change, meaning that we'll have less money here and then obviously we'll have less money left, basically.
So the good news is that whatever we do, the project will come in less than $69 million is the total project. Whatever we do from here on.
So if I'm reading this correctly, Mr. Chair, I just want to make sure I'm reading this. So right now, if we just, point in time, we are $4.3 million under the $72 million budget. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Which is significant.
I want to know what to announce at the Board of Selectmen meeting when I do my committee, because that is a great, especially since, given what the scale of the Gantt chart of the project is left, like you said, there's not many opportunities to be using that.
So again, I'd like to thank the project team. Certainly all the work was done before we even started. There was a lot of great work on value engineering, getting it right. And I think that has proven well done because we reached this point. And of course, I want to also congratulate the committee itself because we struggled along the way with what costs we thought would be appropriate to the project. And there was some debate on what should be funded. We funded certain things that I personally believe were adding value to the project enormously, and we still have savings in the town. So thank you all. Were there any questions on this? I just wanted to get a snapshot of where we were, because we've been talking about numbers for a while, and I just wanted to get something a little more granular than we have been using.
I just have one.
Sure.
I don't want it touches a little bit, I think, on what we discussed last time, but just a little clarification for me. So, and this is great news, really good news. My question is with the GMP contingency. A month ago, we used that for something relative to the sign, either the sign, the foundations, or something like that. It was used
There was a change.
owner change. It was used instead of doing an owner's project.
Electrical.
So how does it, and I wasn't real clear, and I watched the video again, and I'm still not clear. How do those decisions, how is the criteria, what's the criteria that's used to use GMP instead of needing to go through and change the actual contract price? Because at the end of the day, I mean, it's great that it's not changing the contract price. I understand exactly what you're saying there. But at the end of the day, it's still changing the final dollar number that the town is going to see. So is there a criteria for that? Or?
Well, I think that the one that I would use is, was it something that was value engineered out of the project that would add value to the project? Or is it something that, because it's a small amount of, a small dollar amount, and we're working towards the end of the project, it would not make sense to hold work up now that we're trying to close out. To have a change order approved at each and every meeting, which is a month apart. We're talking about anything going forward, I have to imagine, is going to be small items. The the athletic director's office door has a single pane of glass, and when he's in his office, the person in the office next to him can hear everything he's saying in person. So he said, could I have another plate of glass to create a greater sound barrier?
All right, so we're just basically, what I'm hearing you say is, somebody, I don't know who that is, Shaman, us, somebody, a representative of us, is just making a decision as to whether or not this needs to be something that's discussed in a meeting or not.
Correct.
Okay. So obviously, just to make my point, we wouldn't have used this for adding the maintenance garage, even though it's far below the 800,000.
No.
We wouldn't use it for something.
No, and it's certainly not at that point in the project, because we didn't know where we were.
I'm not just saying for something that scope of magnitude.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I think there's a difference too in terms of the MSBA processing of the information, as I recall. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, basically just because, so the GMP contingency, basically, we also, I'm just going to show you, but there is a GMP contingency that we have, but we also have credits that were get there at the feedback from like the abatement, like we have the abatement price a little lower. So we're getting money back from that, which is listed in this under here, and also some items that we were holding, like some money we were holding in profile lines, so we don't have to move money around. Hopefully, like in case we have to do some electrical work, we didn't actually release that as a credit, we just kept it there because it's easier, and we're going to track it, and then we're going to do it at the end. So this is also listed there. So
I understand the
basically,
balancing.
So there's a big picture, a GMP contingency, because Trauma doesn't get a markup, and they also have a list of things that they can do. So an owner change, if you want a new thing, anything, like maintenance garage, cannot be billed against GMP contingency because it's not a coordination, and it's not an unforeseen condition, it's nothing like that. So we can go ahead and tell Phil, we want to buy a table, do it without a markup. It's not right, it's not good.
The contract actually prohibits
However,
me from taking a markup on the GMP contingency.
right.
One way to look at it is, so part of a guaranteed maximum price is Shawmut says, we're taking these drawings, we're guaranteeing to you that we're going to build this building for this amount of money. We build into that price an agreed upon amount to cover coordination issues, scope holes, scope gaps. We didn't buy it here, we forgot to buy it. So that money is basically what we utilize to still deliver the project that is designed at the dollar value that we guarantee to provide. So when you ask for something that's an added item over the contract drawings, that is where the change order becomes the method to increase our contract. Because it wasn't in my guaranteed maximum price. You're now asking for something.
However, if the credits, since we have the big sizable credit for abatement, 250,000 in electrical, we can actually use the credit to buy some of those small things, like the extra pane of glass, or the scoreboards, things
There
like
were some issues around placement of whiteboards and corkboards in
Correct.
classrooms. There was a request for a switch for the hallway to the roof in a different place. Those kinds of things. There are a series of these small things that as we go through the building and as it's being operated now, we find, wouldn't it be great if, for instance, the way that the design of the blinds in the cafeteria work, they're all on one switch. So they all go down, they all go up. And what they all wanted to do is to have the ones that go down by the gym and leave the rest open. Well, that requires them to be redone in order for us to have it operationalized in a way that works. And so, again, it's a small amount of money to accomplish an important operational
I understand that.
that enhances the operation. And by using the credit to do that, rather than, and doing it as a budget transfer, we can get it done quickly, without a markup, within the project cost.
Would it still show up as a potential on the change orders? Or is
No,
that-
it would not show up as a change order.
Because they're using the credit? Or is it-
Correct, we're using the credit as a budget transfer.
Because I did have a question. I noticed that we put sod down. I know during the turf fields discussion, we had discussed the cost of sod. But I thought originally it was supposed to be hydroseed or...
It was seeded and it was part of the GMP. So before we had the discussion about the turf, the artificial turf, after the GMP, at the GMP time, it was decided to, I don't know the exact history, but we did purchase.
It was early on when we found that we had, when the bids came back and we had the ability to put it back in. It had been value engineered out, and we put it back in because it would allow us to use those fields a season ahead of seeding.
So it was purchased in the GMP.
It was early.
Okay, and I know that bus, it offsets the cost of the busing and all that. I was just curious why that didn't show up on the change order. Because I know we
It was included in the GMP.
It was basically put back into the design, and we were still under, according to Mr. Mackey, we were still under the budget for the landscaping contract.
Thanks.
Not at all. I wanted to have this discussion for 2 reasons. Number one, to make those issues clear.
Yeah.
How things have been done, how I think it would work for us going forward in terms of finishing out the project efficiently. But also to just take a deeper dive into what the numbers look like and where we are.
So, I don't know if I dare ask this, but do we have an estimate on what the final number from MSBA is going to be?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's going to be the closeout discussion.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was a...
Yeah.
You can see how there would...
Okay. Which brings you to the discussion of the scoreboard. We had a value engineer the scoreboard out and had thought that we would fundraise for it. Well, that is certainly a fine approach. We have a price for it, $38.46. We've already approved the electrical and so on for it. So that is for the scoreboard itself and its installation, correct? And again, using the savings from the credits that we got from the abatement line, it would require us not to touch the GMP if we did it as a budget transfer. I'm not advocating that we do it now, do it as a budget transfer. You can't really operate a real football field without a scoreboard. And the timeline now to get, the fundraising done and the scoreboard completed just adds an element of uncertainty to the project going forward. So, unless there is some great objection from the committee itself, I talked to these folks about doing it as a budget transfer using the credit from the abatement.
I don't have the last meetings with me. Do we have what else is pending?
So at this point, there's no, we converted all the change orders over to budget transfers. I can tell you how much of the, I can't see it from here. What's the total of that balance to?
Which balance are you talking about?
213?
Credits?
The credits one, I can't see. 213. So That is the value after all of the current things that were originally on the PCI log, or the change order log, they got transferred over to the...
So that's current.
That's current with everything that's on this log. It's about 49...
That includes the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's about $100,000 worth of changes.
Who's the score?
Oh, that 213 includes the scoreboard being out already.
Yeah, the scoreboard already happened according to that cost right now.
Oh.
So you're still getting that. So that's as of today.
And nothing else is pending.
There's some... That
Anything else is pending, it's been
Yeah, so...
taken into that number.
It's actually in your packet, all the changes that we had outstanding. They got converted over.
Oh, they are, okay, they are there, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see those.
So the 2 credits for the steel, and then all the costs that were pending or approximate for the change orders. We converted them to budget transfers, and you're still left with 213,000 coming back to you. If there's no further, which I know that there's some other items that will probably come up. Signage is always one that I don't think will be at $200,000. I don't think it'll find $212,000.
Nowhere near.
So that number includes the scoreboard, includes relocating the BMS head end equipment, the stairwell light, the 80s office glass.
Fixing the problem with the curtains.
It does not include that, because that came up, I got that right after this came up.
Oh.
So,
What's the price of that?
it was around $5,000. So,
Any questions?
I think people are going to wonder why we didn't buy a scoreboard. No, we don't have one. That's my...
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to work on it.
What field do the Bengals use? Do they use that one or the turf field?
They use both fields. Given the fact that the other field didn't exist, I would imagine that now that we have the availability of the fields, they'll be using those fields. I think predominantly they use the turf field, correct?
But they'll be able to hold practices on that, the field closest to the TCP, that has the lights on the one side, so you can't play competitions on it, but you can play practices. So that's what they're pretty much doing down Turkey Hill on that field. They already have one spotlight that they're using. But there's only one scoreboard as part of the project.
Correct. This,
Right in the middle of the field.
yeah,
it's supposed to be visible from both of the fields.
we moved it to the middle of the 2 fields. That was the...
It's
$11,000.
double-sided.
It's single-sided. It's
At the
one,
end. Okay.
it's one scoreboard. But yeah, it's kind of, it's smack dab in the middle, not angled.
Is it on the side of the school, it's on the school side?
Yes.
Yes.
It's on the north side, yeah.
So it faces to it.
Yes.
Okay? Great. Okay, monthly approvals and commitments. Change order number 18, roof wall mats, planting at Public Avenue property. We already approved this last week. We're now just approving the change order. Last week, that's month we approved the amount. We are now approving the change order, which we have right here.
Motion that we approve change order OCO 18, including the 2 items the chair just noted.
In the amount of $21,781. Is there a second? Okay, discussion?
Discussion, I thought as a point of order, we were going to separate the ones that were not unanimously approved.
We can vote on them separately. It's going to wind up on the same change order.
Right, I'm in favor of the mats, I didn't, I was opposed to the plantings, and I'm opposed to the mat.
Okay, we can note that for the record. Okay, we're going to note it for the record.
Yeah, it's just
I will vote in favor of this because it was the will of the commission that approved it last time. It was not a change order, but just for the record, I was also opposed to the rentals.
I was too, but I would vote in favor of any of their plans.
Yeah, I mean, majority of them just saying.
But, yeah, I will vote in favor.
Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
We have,
They're all the same.
we're all the same.
That car right there is all the same.
So that's it.
We have one more.
Charge you the commission, coil the upgrade the commission.
Where's the report going?
Which is on page 23 in the contract.
I'm sorry.
That's page 23.
Okay, I can walk, please feel free to add information that I might not have touched upon. Remember when we did the adding of the additional cooling? These are those HRU units that were the additional cooling. One of the things that we did not address at the time is that the commissioning is usually paid for by the MSBA. Since we are already over,
The MSBA only pays for the base contract commissioning, whatever is for the building originally designed and approved for the PFA, for the GMP. Basically, anything that's added commissioning due to an owner requested change, which was the additional cooling, the MSBA is not contracted to pay for. The MSBA allows to sort of piggyback on an existing commissioning agent if we choose so, but the fee has to come out of owner's contingency, move to the other project costs in the budget, the propay line, and basically paid for that way. And this is the additional services invoice because there is a contract with MSBA, Canon Design Commission, the entire project, and the $6,000 is what it will cost them to commission just that part, just the additional cooling scope. I spoke to the MSBA and they said that similarly to change orders, if it comes out of the construction contingency, the commissioning would come out of owner's contingency and be moved up to the other project cost. This is basically it. And it is commissioning is done for the owner and for the benefit of the owner to make sure that everything functions properly.
explain just a little bit about the commissioning licenses.
That's my next question.
So essentially, it's an independent third-party engineer who takes the equipment submittals, he reviews them, determines the design functionality and the purchase functionality, and then after it's installed, he actually goes to the field and tests the equipment to verify that it's actually functioning as it was intended, designed, and purchased. So it's protecting your investment from the potential of the equipment being installed but not running at its optimum, the optimum way that it should. So a lot of people say, why am I paying for this? I pay for
That would be my next
contractor.
question.
So it's really just that added third party, you have an independent person coming out who's specialized in this equipment, understands what you're supposed to be getting, and can verify it independently without any financial interest in the project that it's functioning at the way it's supposed to.
Are the people who are installing it required to provide them?
We start the equipment up and we test the equipment, but the commissioning agent takes it far further, and he actually goes up to the unit, confirms things beyond what a typical mechanical contractor is contracted to do. He's contracted to install the equipment, turn the equipment on, and the equipment runs. The commissioning agent is going to go through it and fine-tooth comb and go through every aspect including the manufacturer's controls. So the control system that's prepackaged with the unit is bought by a mechanical contractor, he puts it in the equipment, and he's done. The commissioning agent actually engages the manufacturer's rep to work the unit through its own internal controls, not just the added controls that we provide to make the system function.
And
So we did-
it's required by the MSBA.
It is required by the
And we did it for all the equipment on the job.
You could have started with that. Because everything else is kind of pointless, because once it gets to the MSBA, there's no argument.
But yeah, all the
So we
systems
did
have gone through commissioning.
We commissioned everything in this building, every piece of mechanical equipment, the lighting control system, the plumbing, everything got commissioned by a third party.
Kitchen suppression systems, literally, it was a fine-tooth comb.
Much like you have a bill, I'm Chris Marino, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should
No,
have
that's
been.
okay. It's all right. It's much like you have a building inspector to make sure something's built in conformance with codes. This is a quality control inspector to make sure it functions per design.
And in a private project, this might be required by a funding agency like a bank or an investment might require those kind of things on a private project, so it's not, it's just unheard of.
There were stats, this is going back 10, 15 years ago, but there were stats that many new buildings on being fired out as much as 25% of the mechanical systems actually malfunction. Not due to bad installation or poor craftsmanship, but just that valve wasn't firing when it was supposed to get the signal, or things weren't closing or opening at certain times. So the commissioning agent, which is required by the LEED process, U.S. Green Building Council, is basically ensuring you're not missing any of those little valves that might be malfunctioning.
Similarly to testing, to soils testing, which is also done by the owner's side, but it's for the benefit of them. And again, the contractor does their own testing, of course, but if the third party tests come out slightly different than the contractor, the third party has no interest in hiding or not bringing something up, so if there's any discrepancy, then we can talk about it.
Or would they come back, would they come just once to do this, or would it be over a period of time, a month or year?
It's a process that they're going through. There are meetings that they
Yeah,
come
the
to check
commissioning
this.
started over the summer, was it?
Correct. So for the building, it's a separate commissioning.
And they're still not done.
Yeah.
Have we found any issues in the past, and we continue to review, would we have to come back and spend more money, because we basically are paying for a finished product?
That would be more of a warranty type stuff, just correcting some more that in place. If they discover, hey, this was designed for you need to run a new line, or it would be a larger event, then you might trigger some costs, which then is a discussion or contingency or money transfer. So there's always other conversations. But really, this is the quality control and functionality punch list. They come back to make sure it's done, and so it's always done.
Because I know the rules, dehumidification, so you can't just set a thermostat like you can the heat. So if we set the heat at 70, we would expect that it would be 70, and that would be a reasonable expectation.
Sure.
So, have we had to come back for this on other mechanicals, or the heating, as an additional cost, or the cooling comes back to
The cooling, so when we wrote the change order originally, the commissioning costs on the owner's side, I guess the decision was made, and they weren't captured at the time. So since we added this equipment, it was never in the base contract, and we didn't buy the commissioning with that change order. One, it's not my commissioning, and it wasn't included at that time for discussion. So at this point, now that we have the equipment in, the commissioning agent kind of said, hey, you added this equipment, do you want me to come out and commission it like I did everything else?
And I guess my other question probably be Mr. Ron, if he has any input in, if he's included in this, so that he knows if there's issues.
Guys, I see the reports for these 6 units, and we have been having difficulty with all of them. The manufacturer's been out, and they think they have determined what the problem is with the 6 units. So there will be some repairs done for the commissioning approved for that after all that is finished. I think we're saying it's 2 or 3 weeks before that's all wrapped
As
up.
long as we get the parts in before the weather changes, so it might all push till the spring anyway. But you wouldn't have temperatures to bring the commission in at this time.
And these 6 units cover a very large percentage of the building as far as the cooling side. I've seen, we obviously have done the rest of the building on the heating side for commissioning of it. Probably prudent thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know if you were including these tasks that were thrown, if you were including later on to identify additional issues or issues in the future. So
If we see things,
just to
we'll
learn.
certainly bring them up. We did see some things early on when these 6 units were started out. There weren't some different issues and like that. So we do see things in place in those issues. The commissioning agent is supposed to look at the function of the unit, how all the pieces work together. And there's value there.
Okay.
Okay, so at this point, we're looking to have a motion to approve that. That's $6,000 for additional commissioning for the HRU cooling coil upgrade. I'll take a motion to that effect. So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Construction progress update.
Excuse me, just to say one more.
Sure.
In regards to the scoreboard.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped something. Hold on. Yes.
Does the board, the committee need to take action on that as far as a vote, so that it's not received as it was just done without approval of this committee, or?
What we said was, and what I thought we were agreeing on was, I said that if there was unless there was some objection from the committee, we were converting those two, we're using the excess funds not as a change order, but as a budget transfer. And I seem to get agreement with the committee. Am I correct on that?
I think what Mr. Bitt was saying is, do we need a vote to approve that?
Budget transfers do not require a vote of the committee. If you want to have a vote, I can certainly have one, but it's not required.
I would like to, anybody has an objection, just for transparency.
Sure. That means we're making a motion.
I move that we approve the funds in the amount of, I'm sorry, what's the amount? $38,046 for the installation of each scoreboard.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you.
No problem. There are no list of potential change orders to come before the body tonight. Construction project update.
So at this point, I don't know if anybody got a chance to see the fields before they came in tonight. We rolled out the sod beginning last week. So we've laid down about 4 acres of sod in the last 4 days. So they're in the process now of kind of trimming it, fine tuning the areas that the full roll in. We set the goalposts on the football fields, both sports field lighting. They were actively installing the wiring today. It's possible that they might be on when we go out there. I'm not sure what they have him scheduled for right now, or if he's working on it, so I don't know if he's testing them or anything. But that should be wrapping up by the end of this week. Electrically, we've paved the basketball court areas and the tennis court areas. We've begun the process of installing all the fencing in that area. Binder coat, and we also binder the upper oval portion of the drive aisle. We'll have the remainder of it bindered by the end of this week, so you won't see any dirt out there by the end of this week, aside from some areas we need to seed and clean up. We're in the greenhouse, we're finishing up the plumbing. We'll be sealing the concrete floor and moving in the tables, so we're nearing completion on that. There's not much left to do. We'll start demobilizing some of the security fencing over the next week or so. We'll be leaving the gates up for a longer period of time to minimize traffic into the driveways while we pave and let it all set up. signage, telling people about leave turf, stay off. But we're in really great shape. The last big thing we did are our trees and our shrubs, which should happen by the end of this month. We're waiting for the first big frost up north so that it basically shocks the tree into dormancy, and then they dig up and bring it down to the job site and roll it into the ground. So we're really close. Looks like we're getting everything in before the weather turns. So.
And the greenhouse will be operational the first week of November.
Well, great reports.
We have some aerial photographs that our aerial photographer did with present for us, but I'm trying to open them up and I can't.
Now, this is part of the project, but many of you that are curious, the sod, the turf project is also received, I would say, a third of the way done with the install of the turf itself. They've already done underlayment and the padding, you're rolling out the turf itself. It's really.
What else am I going to do down there?
Oh, you mean that's the last thing that they do that? You mean the thing that gets thrown on instead of the.
The infill,
Are you talking about the?
Nike film.
But isn't there a different choices you have other than?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
Well, we can go
You
chat.
said Nike drawing. Was it padding?
Yeah.
The padding is rock padding,
Yeah.
so that's,
And that's.
concussions.
A little bit of an upgrade then?
Yes.
But they seem good.
It was hard. I mean, that surface was hard.
And they're working towards, having it ready for the homecoming.
So this already looks very different.
How long ago was that?
This
That was at the beginning of September.
just recent. Those are the fields. That's
Yep.
about a month, no, less than that. About 3 weeks ago.
We're done now.
The school would be here, which is loading.
I mean, the goalposts are up. It looks like put up some padding and stripe them and you're ready to.
We're at the hardest part now because everybody's on top of each other trying to work because we have a very small amount of area left.
Right.
So it becomes increasingly difficult and more dangerous once crammed in there.
This is from the beginning of September, I think, just
We're hearing back from folks around the invitations. We were delighted yesterday to receive a phone call as well as an email from Lusenberg High School graduate who is now in her 90s and is looking forward to attending the dedication. Lives in Townsend now. She also has worked as an adult and has worked in the superintendent's office. So that was just a really exciting phone call to get. And that day, of course, being homecoming, there's lots of events planned, and we're going to have the school open for self-guided tours. We'll have just the layout and the main spaces, the larger spaces will be open for people to be able to visit, like the auditorium and the library. The classrooms won't be open, but all the shades will be up so people can look into the classrooms. And that will be going on before the parade. Your note says at 11:30 we'll be over as our marshals to Turkey Hill Elementary School, and you'll have transportation and be part of our homecoming parade as marshals. And then we come back here for 12:45 in the dedication and ribbon cutting ceremony. We have a flag that's been flown over the Capitol in Washington, D.C. that will be raising up as part of that ceremony as well. And students will be speaking, and we are looking forward to that event, and all of us will have a chance to be part of that ribbon cutting ceremony, and then a reception afterwards in the cafeteria. So please tell your friends and neighbors. We've been pushing the information out. We'll make sure that it's in the Lunenburg Ledger, but it'll be an exciting day. Senior night afternoon is going to be going on, as well as the football game beginning at 2 o'clock. So you won't be bored at all.
And one of our speakers is Congresswoman Saunders.
That's true.
And I'll extend the invitation if anybody wants to chaperone the dance that night is from 7 to 10.
I didn't have my class reunion. I would be all over that.
Sorry about my little death in this area.
I think I'm busy too.
Where's the guy this I have to find my pen class. It should be a wonderful day.
Dance for the high school is Saturday.
Saturday. Middle school's Friday.
That's about time.
And I just had the honor of being invited to the, this is pep rally.
The rally,
So,
yes.
I don't, I have no idea what it is, but I've been invited to
The
it.
queen and the courts are announced, and of course, the
Skip.
school spirit is at the max, and the marshals are on.
I'm happy to, honored to be invited to the rally.
It's the roasting of Hazel Man.
Oh, no, you missed it.
Unaware.
That already happened.
Mike and I can have your teacher Since the school has now been occupied for the purpose that it was designed in the bill, anything that people say, wow, either good or bad, that say, wow, this shouldn't have worked like this, some of the small things are really, has it really flowed the way everybody had thought and wanted?
I'm going to ask Mr. Spadafino to give feedback from the staff, and then I'll share
It's
my
amazing.
perspective as well.
The sense of pride that kids have being in the building, you can see it on them. I mean, you can see it down in the cafeteria, just the way they carry themselves, the way they've taken care of the facility for the most part. I think it's been amazing. The technology, kids in grades 10 through 12 all have Chromebooks, and teachers are using them in the classrooms, they're using these projectors. They're, going to be leading PDAs on how they're finding these different apps, different sites, how they're working. So people are embracing it, and it's awesome. People are really excited for that outdoor classroom to get opened up. That's something that's really unique and pretty special that we're able to do. The site, the campus, I mean, these kids are talking about it as a campus, and they see that facade get laid out, and it's just gorgeous, and just the designs and the light in the building, it's a pretty special place. So,
And as I've been in classrooms and talked to students as well as the teachers, we see the design elements of this building really come together, as Mr. Spadafino talked about, but even the details around the chairs that we selected, the standing desks, the voice lift system, all of these are having the kinds of impact that we had planned and envisioned for, and there's a great deal of positive energy, and I see the spaces being utilized, this flexible space notion that we did. I never failed to walk by the library and see that media cafe being utilized by many students working sometimes independently, but more frequently working together. So it really has accomplished the kinds of things that as our teachers had talked to Charlie Hay of Tappe and Associates, and the additional ideas that he brought to the table, we are just feel so honored to have such a wonderful place for teaching and learning to occur in our community.
And the gym spaces are
Yeah.
phenomenal too.
And the music.
We've really needed all those spaces as we've added the 6th and 7th grade with the high school, 8th grade department, but just all the different sections that we have of classes, we need those separate spaces, and the kids are enjoying those spaces, and I'm very much.
I've never gone past the ultimate peak room and not seen the kind of people.
And moving. The people
Yeah.
moving.
Yeah.
Which is key.
That's great too.
And I would be remiss if I didn't commend personnel and the assistant principal in terms of really taking this concept of a co-located building and maintaining two separate schools within this one facility and making it work appropriately, ensuring that it's working appropriately for our sixth graders as well as our seniors. So they've really done a great job leading that effort.
Which at this point leads me to just mention that if you look at the schedule, the end of December is certainly in the way. So I don't know that we will be meeting or anything in the December meeting, really buttoning up the project at that point. I'm assuming that there'll be months where there'll be no need for the committee's action, but I'm sure that we'll find some way to celebrate the end together. Alrighty, public comment.